giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. So y'all just gonna come at me about being late, huh? Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We're only a few days away from this, I guess, lopsided matchup the way they making it seem, huh? I'm your host, Will Skywalker Steele. I got my guy, Okoye Media, in the building today. It's playoff Okoye Thursdays. We got lots of film to break down today, y'all, so stick with us, man. We got a really good show lined up for you. We're going to talk about the Cowboys offense against the 49ers defense and what I think is a matchup that's kind of being thrown to the side. Yeah? We keep hearing about the Niners offense, the Niners physicality, the Niners scheme. There's another side to the ball. And we're going to talk about that and where I think the Cowboys, where we think the Cowboys have some advantages in how they can win that matchup and force the Niners offense to get in a track meet. I think they can. In the roundup, we'll talk about some of the guys that have come back from the COVID list, and we'll check the injury report because there are some injury updates to get to from both sides of the ball. And the 49er player did show the Cowboys some respect. I mean, you got some of these talking heads that won't, but a Niners player did show some Cowboys, the Cowboys team, some respect. So we'll get to that as well. But, man, really jam-packed show lined up for you. Like I said, a lot of film. We're going to get into detailed stuff. So if you don't want to get down to the nitty-gritty, this one ain't going to be for you. But y'all know Okoye. Y'all know how he is, man. One of the best film guys in the business. And there are also some things that I wanted to point out that I think the Cowboys will bring back this week against the Niners. You know, we talk about Kellen Moore kind of keeping things in the tuck. Well, you're going to see there are a lot of things that was run, a lot of plays and concepts that were run earlier in the season that we just didn't get back to. And I think the 49ers actually present a defense that we can bring that back out. But a whole lot of details we'll get into that should make you feel better about this matchup, the Cowboys offense going up against that 49ers defense. All right, I think we got enough folks in the building. Hey, Corey, you want to give them a quick, what's up?
Yo, what up, man? Good morning, everybody. Appreciate y'all. Happy to be back. Let's get it.
Let's get it. We'll get a Okoye here in a few minutes, but y'all know how it is. We got to get to the roundup first. Got some news to get to.
Look at my Gucci, it's about that time. It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Yes, indeed. This is the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. And I can't hear are we good here? Yeah, we good. Texas Family Fitness, a solution for your fitness goals, whether it be weight loss, strengthening up, toning up, sports, or stress relief. Our friends over at TFF have everything you need, from state-of-the-art equipment to experienced, certified, professional trainers. So check out Texas Family Fitness at any of the 9 locations in the DFW area or TexasFamilyFitness.com. Like I said, some injury and COVID updates to get to. One being Michael Parsons and Tyron Smith are back from the COVID list. In fact, just about everybody is back from the COVID list. Francis Bernard, Josh Ball, Darian Thompson also returned. The one player who has not returned yet is Jaron Kearse. And that is an important guy that we're going to need. But like I said, from all indications, he will play. They need to get him in the building, though, so they can monitor his hamstring situation. I don't know if y'all heard Michael Parsons' quotes yesterday. They asked him about bully ball and things like that. Michael wasn't having any of it. You know, he said, I'm from Harrisburg, where we bullied the bully. I like it. I like it. And then maybe it's because I'm biased because I'm from Harrisburg too. But I like what Michael Parsons had to say about that. You know, he's not backing down from anything. And all this talk about the 49ers physicality and all this stuff. Me and Okoye were just talking about it behind the scenes here. It's silly to me. I get they're a physical team. It's not like the Cowboys haven't been physical as well. It's not like the Cowboys haven't ran on opponents as well. You know, and it's not like they're more, if you want to keep it a bean, they're more finesse in their scheme than they are physical. The physical point of the Niners is the fact that they continue to run the ball. But how they run the ball is more cute and finesse than it is physical, in my opinion. Misdirection, see me here, see me there. It's not man up, line up, power football. It's really a zone scheme. So that's neither here nor there. I just, you know, we're hearing all this physicality talk on these networks, and they act like the Cowboys haven't been able to do some of that on their side of the ball as well. Trevin Diggs also returned to practice after dealing with some illness that was not COVID related. So, you know, getting Diggs back obviously is important. Since it's not COVID, it was almost a foregone conclusion he'll be back. But from the Niners standpoint, their injury report was, yesterday Trent Williams did not practice, but he told Ed Warder he has all intentions on playing. His quote to me, though, was a little bit concerning. He says he believes a brace and adrenaline will offset any remaining issues with the elbow. If he's counting on adrenaline to help him out for a 4-quarter battle, you know, that's a bit tough, man. So, hey, you know, Trent said he'll give it a go. We'll see how long he can play. You know, listen, it's football at the end of the day. I don't want somebody out there that's going to hurt themselves if they're not ready to play. And that's what happened last week. He wasn't really ready to play to protect himself or his quarterback per his coach, so they sat him. But I doubt they're going to sit him this game, so he'll at least give it a go. And Elijah Mitchell also did not practice, a DNP yesterday for the 49ers, their young stud running back. He's dealing with a tough knee injury that I think they're going to limit him this week heading into the game. He'll play, but even against the Rams, he didn't look like that explosive Elijah Mitchell that we saw in the season. But he's going to play. He's a tough guy to bring down. He can break tackles. So, you know, you're going to have to bring your A game when you meet him at the line of scrimmage. But he will be hampered. He will be hampered. Let's get to Fred Warner real quick. He shows some respect. We finally get some respect around here. Fred Warner was asked about the whole Dallas Cowboys bad matchup and things like that. He said, listen, I do have a lot of confidence in our team, but you could say the same thing about, let's say the roles were reversed and the Cowboys were the 6th seed and we were the 3rd seed. He's talking about this on the Rich Eisen show. Who's the team you don't want to play in the 6th seed? You don't want to play the Cowboys, says Fred Warner. They're talented at every single position on their entire team, literal stars at each position group. It's going to be a battle, Warner said. It's going to be the biggest one of the year. Obviously, one which that's what the playoffs are. And it's going to be 2 dogs going at it. And I think it's going to be a 4-quarter football game back and forth. And we're going to have to play our best game if we want to win. Your own 49er players know this team is good. Your own 49er players know this ain't going to be easy. And they know that they have every opportunity to lose just as much as winning because the Cowboys are a good team. News flash, media. Shout out to Fred Warner. I just wanted to read that quote for y'all. You know, Fred is a guy that is an all-pro linebacker that sees the same things that most logical fans see. This is a Cowboys team that is a good football team. With that said, man, let's get our guy up in the building. Okoye Media. What's up, brother?
He's in the building!
In here writing my notes out, but what's good?
You writing your notes, brother?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you something before we get into the defense side of stuff. You know, you're hearing all this physical stuff. You're hearing all this Cowboys kind of feel like the underdog. So as a fan, before we get down to the analytic part, as a fan of Okoye, how you feeling going into this game?
I mean, I'm feeling confident due to the fact that, when we're underdogs, I think we play better. And the fact that we're coming into the playoffs and people are looking at us like we're a wounded dog or something like that, that's making me feel good because we don't have to hold the mantle of being like the bullies on the block, so to speak. Every time we were in that position this year, it seems like we kind of crapped the bed. But when we come in as underdogs or when guys think we're not going to come in and compete, that's when we do well. So I feel good about it. I think we're going to come in and not even surprise the 49ers because it wouldn't be a surprise to me, but we're going to surprise those that are talking that, though. Like bully ball and all the physicality stuff, man. We've been hurting every team we've played. So if they run bully ball against us and Micah Parsons in the middle of the field, I'm not really worried about it. And that's not fan talk, not, homer talk, none of that. That's just really how I feel about it.
Yeah, and this is one of those games we've been talking all year about, hey, where you put Micah. Well, you got your boys back at DE, so he's going to play linebacker. But this is the game you want him to play linebacker. You actually need him to play linebacker because you don't want LVE out there trying to deal with this east-west motion offense. I ain't going to call it power football. It's east-west, the motion stuff, the eye candy pre-snap stuff will just crush LVE and Keanu Neal for that matter.
Facts.
Honestly, that's who they should be attacking. They should be attacking Keanu Neal and LVE at any given chance they can. But
they're going to try.
I wouldn't give them the chance.
They're going to try.
Yeah.
I mean, with LVE next to Parsons, if you look at the season, like in the film, when Parsons is next to LVE or when Neal is next to Parsons, either or, they played okay with Parsons next to them. When they both have to play together is when I have concerns. But when they're playing with Parsons in the middle of the field, it's not as bad.
Yeah, but this Niners scheme, bruh. Like LVE take one false step. He cannot he can't make that thing up like Micah can.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? So that's who I would go after. Before we get, like I said, into the defensive side, your thoughts though on their quarterback, because a lot of networks kind of want to ignore that Jimmy Garoppolo is the one throwing that rock this week.
I mean, I'm probably one of the only guys that actually I'm not gonna say he's great, but I don't dislike Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Jimmy Garoppolo's superpower is his strongest weakness at the same time, which is crazy to say. But he's a great tight window throwing quarterback. And that's why he gets in trouble, because he doesn't see a coverage that he doesn't want to throw at. So he'll throw it into windows that you probably shouldn't. And then sometimes when his timing's off, he'll do it anyway. And as you saw last week with the Jalen Ramsey interception and so on, when he threw to Jalen Ramsey, he had a good look. Kittles had beat Ramsey on that play. He just was under pressure and still decided to throw that ball anyway without looking.
That's
and he
great.
threw it behind him.
Consistently does
so
that.
That's good for us.
Yeah.
So his superpower is his greatest weakness. He'll throw in tight windows, and you'll see it when he's doing it well and he has time. He'll be beating you with it, and you'll be mad about it. But it only takes 2 or 3 moments for him to, be off a little bit, and then you get yourself picks. So that's why he throws so many picks, because he's not afraid to throw guys open. And so what I like about him is also what benefits us.
Yeah, their offense is predicated on yak. They got this thing over there called the Yak Bros, with Kittle and Ayuk and obviously Deebo Samuel. So a lot of their stuff is going to be the short intermediate stuff. But I saw in the Rams game, they try to take their shots. It didn't work that much unless it was a trick play. Because I think the Rams, they see them 2 times a year, every year, so they know them better than most teams. But if Dallas can look at that film, especially in the first half, and stay disciplined behind their linebackers, they're going to make your boy Jimmy Garoppolo have to throw in those tight windows or hold the ball and take those sacks. So it's really, to me, I think it's less about physicality and more about discipline and winning your leverage, because if they out-leverage you, that could be a difference between a 3-yard gain and a 15-yard gain because of those motions.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, so I'd rather put the game in Jimmy's hands, Okoye, to be honest with you.
I mean, that's the way you beat them. Yeah, you turn them into a passing team. If you look at most of their wins and the way they like to play, they're a great first quarter scoring team.
Did talk about that, yeah.
Yeah, they like to score early so that Jimmy doesn't have to be the decision maker in the game. He just has to kind of keep it going, get some first downs and then finish, at the end of those drives. But they don't have it so that he has to be the guy that kind of directs the game, sort of like we do. So if you turn it into that type of matchup, it's automatic for us.
Yeah,
I really do believe.
This is why I want the Cowboys, if they have a chance, with the coin flip, come out and with the ball. I don't want to defer. I think Kyle Shanahan, and by the way, I have much respect for Kyle Shanahan. His scheme is one of the best in the league in regards to creativity. But he's going to come out, and I think he's going to throw the kitchen sink in those first 15. So it's going to be imperative for Dallas to make sure they match that energy. But if they can come out and get up on San Fran, then that puts a little bit more pressure on the Niners immediately. And I just don't want the defense to come out there. The Niners get that first 15, and it's successful. Right now they're up 7-0, and we don't know if Kellen's going to shrink or if Kellen's going to remain open. The Kellen now he should be at home against his team.
I mean, and I think that in the playoffs, if you're like packing it in the playoffs, then it's time for you to go anyway. I don't think Kellen will shrink in this game because it's all if you can't hold anything back now. Like if you hold anything back now, there's something wrong with you. Throw the kitchen sink at it and let's see what happens.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into a lot of tape that we kind of were looking at just a little bit beforehand. There's a lot of things. Even you were like, "Damn, is that our scheme?" Because we hadn't seen it in months. So yeah, there's some exciting things that we do. It's just that we haven't seen it in so long. We forget the stuff that the Niners do. We kind of have some things like that, and the Niners actually struggle with their own medicine. So. In fact, let's go ahead and jump straight into your breakdown that you did. If you guys haven't checked it out, you can check it out on this page, but we're going to get you a breakdown right now, live and direct with Okoye breaking down, I think it was the Packers game.
Yep.
The Packers game against the Niners. So the Niners defense against the Packers offense. Give us about 30 seconds. We'll come back, and we'll get Okoye breaking that down in depth.
Where else you want to go? Don't nobody do it like us, bro. Oh, my goodness. We beat the brakes off y'all. Whoop that trip.
Oh, my goodness.
That's Jesse Alley.
We beat the brakes off y'all.
Yeah, it's Jesse Alley, Skywalker Still, Game Day Live. We do it every single week. This week, actually, we'll still be at Texas Live, but we'll be at the Miller Lite, not the Miller Lite House, but the Miller Lite Room in Texas Live. So I'll talk more about that throughout the week, but make sure y'all tune in for that in the pre and post game. Also, halftime show. But yeah, this is Okoye going to break down what he saw against this against this Niners team defensively in his film review. So go right on ahead, Okoye.
Yes, sir. This breakdown wasn't really about wins and losses, play by play. So you'll see some incomplete passes, some runs that don't go anywhere. It was more about patterns. When the Packers saw the 49ers in certain looks, they would attack a specific way. So when they saw single high, as you just saw, you'll see a lot of jet sweeps from the Packers and motions pre-snap and power runs. When they saw too high, though, and also deep throws against single high, I wanted to say. But when you saw too high, they almost ran exclusively, literally almost every time. They threw it maybe 4 or 5 times out of those looks when they saw too high, but they ran exclusively. And I'm not saying we should follow that to the T,
right?
But there are opportunities in the middle of the field when you see them in too high. And I don't think that the Packers were trying to hit home runs with those either. They knew that the 49ers were going to play stout up front like we do. But what I do think they were trying to do, which worked, is slow down the 49ers pass rush and tire those guys out for the late portion of the game. And that worked tremendously. You'll see that later on in the film, how the get off for the 49ers and their gap integrity kind of fell apart in the second half due to the fact that they just never stopped doing this. And this also makes it easier for Dak, where he doesn't have to think as much when we're in those too high schemes. And they're, post snap, we've been having some issues with some of the things that they do.
Yeah, they're not going to disguise a bunch.
Right. what the Niners tried to do, they came out, and they'll do this against us most likely. They came out with a very static, like you just said, a static look on the back end, but then they slowly started to like sprinkle different disguises, and they'll do it maybe once a quarter, twice a quarter.
Very generic
like
too.
Yeah, it's not intricate at all. Like they bring that safety down late because they knew Aaron had already made this call here, and he was stuck in this call. So he went, he played this as if it was too high. And as you can see, they were already thinking that. They know they were going to get something short and quick due to the fact that every time Aaron Rodgers and the Packers saw too high, they either got the ball out quick on a hitch route, screen pass, or they ran the ball. They didn't throw the ball beyond 5 yards, I don't think, on any too high looks in this entire game. And the Niners caught on to that in that last minute, and they waited. This was a bend but don't break type of drive for them, because they waited till they got into the red zone to start kind of like disguising what they were doing. Other than that, they were letting the Packers settle into their pattern so that they could try to trick them in the end of the drive. And it worked in this particular drive. They backed them up. They just got a holding call here. As you can see, with Devontae Adams, they were shading Devontae Adams for most of the game, and that was allowing Aaron Rodgers, as you saw earlier as well, to take advantage of those guys on the other side of the field, because their secondary isn't great at all. And I'm not hating on those guys. They're just not. But as you can see, too high once again, you're going to get something short, nothing beyond 5 yards, and usually to the running back from the Packers, even though this isn't a Packers breakdown. That's what they decided to do against the 49ers. So as I said, the pattern recognition is what you'll be paying attention to here. Adams, this is an example, and this is something, shout out to Coop. This is an example of what you can do when you actually start targeting your number one. Because here you see they were using Adams as a decoy for the majority of the game. And this is in too high where you shouldn't be able to hit this throw. But because they're paying so much attention to Adams and that chemistry that him and Rodgers has, that safety steps out of his zone and allows that receiver to get behind them, due to the fact that they know that Adams is going to get looks. So they came into this game looking for Adams specifically. And I hope we go to Cooper early in this game so that we're able to kind of take advantage of some of these things and free up CD and said as well, due to the fact that the 49ers will really try to take away whoever they think your number one option is. And if that's Cooper in this game, great. Whoever it is, we need to establish it, though, because they know that their secondary isn't there, and they will cheat towards whoever they think the hot hand is, regardless of who it is. There's another too high look, as you can see, just puff of smoke. But I showed that replay on the lineman because that's what we need to start doing. We need to impose our will and throw this weight around on our offensive line, because we have it there. And you can see here they're cheating over to Adams once again on this particular play. These things are easy reads for Dak, even if you are trying to do something post-snap. They spread them out so well here that even if they tried to rotate into something else, there wasn't any time for that for the 49ers. So when they go single high and they cheat over to whoever that hot hand is, spread looks do actually work. So I'm not saying we come out here and we're going to win the game with 100 and, like you said, 180 yards on the ground. It's really not about that. Right. The run is specifically to keep them honest and to do exactly this: tire out Bosa, tire out those guys, have them getting up and down for 4 quarters, so that in the 4th quarter we can nail them if we have to. Give ourselves a chance where they're not firing off the ball at Dak, with a bunch of empty backfield looks where they're not tired. Like if we're not running the ball early in the game, they're not going to be tired late. So when I scream run, I don't think that we're going to dominate any teams on the ground. I think that we still are a team that's best bet is vertical. Right. It's just we need to tire out pass rushers so that Dak's not a sitting duck back there. That's the only reason that I scream run. Here, you see they actually did trick Rodgers here, and it doesn't take a bunch. You only need 2 of these a game to get interceptions, right? That wins the turnover battle in some cases. So they trick Rodgers here, and had he not, tossed this ball out there quick on I said on some Mahomes tip, but really it's on some Rodgers type time because he was the first one to do it. But they tricked him there because they rotated late, and that's what I mean. It's not an intricate disguise. Right. It's just that they never do it, so you get so caught into your pattern of, okay, every time it's single high, they're going to do the same things, that when they actually do rotate or exchange or disguise, they can catch you off guard. So you just have to be cognizant of that and look out for that like once or twice a quarter, because that's really all they did it for. And that's not just for this game. I mean, I looked at the Rams game as well. They don't do a lot of disguising at all. They try to play, like they say, they try to play bully ball. They try to let you know, hey, man, this is what we're doing. We're coming at you. But as you can see, the runs take their toll. Look at this play right here. I love this play because it was just one run. Aaron Rodgers didn't have to do anything. Jones didn't really get punished on that play, but you can see the effect on the defense. Like, it's just bodies flying, and they're dejected, even though it's a close game, due to the fact that Aaron Rodgers didn't stop doing it. Every time he saw it, he would audible into a quick run up the middle or a quick run to the edge to isolate Bosa like he does here, and it had its effect. They're going to run this again later on in this breakdown, and they're going to get a touchdown off of it due to the fact that they're tiring Bosa out. And Bosa, I believe he's dealing with a nagging knee injury that he's been dealing with all year because he's favoring that leg for this entire game, and this was early in the season, so pretty sure it's not better now. You know what I mean? It's not better now in the late in the season. But as you can see, it's all about, like I said, pattern recognition. You're going to keep hearing it. You're going to keep seeing it. This is a longer breakdown due to the fact that, you know, I wanted to instill that in you guys, and I wanted you guys to see exactly what they did almost every time they saw too high and every time they saw a single high coverage. You make sure you guys subscribe to A to Z too. But here's too high again. I think you guys get it now. You guys know what's coming. And Rodgers stuck to it. So this is what I mean by identity. And we have so many options outside of just Cooper or just Zeke and Pollard that I know we don't do these sorts of things consistently because there's a lot of guys to feed, a lot of balls to throw around. So we don't have to do this as much. Like Rodgers has Adams, and that's it. You know, we have guys everywhere. So that's why sometimes you'll see us elect to throw more hitches than runs in front of those too high type of looks. So we have more options, and I think sometimes that becomes option overload for Kellen in some cases, which makes us come at him and say, you know, we don't have an identity, when really we just have a lot more talent on our team than the Packers and most teams, period. Most teams don't have 3 number 1 receivers and then a guy like Said coming off the bench who we all love. So that's the reason you saw some of that there. But against too high, they're very, very predictable in regards to what they're going to do. They're going to come out in too high looks to try to force Dak to throw short. Dak should elect to run the ball there in those cases, or start trying to hit those slant routes. And if we can practice some consistent screen work, I think we were successful with our screen passes with Schultz throughout the season. It's like that's the only one he has like good screen chemistry with. Everyone else has been shaky. So, you know, if you can throw out some screen passes like that in the mix, then maybe we can do that as well when we see those too high looks. But you see the pattern, that's what you're going to see. And here's a single high. Go ahead. I see.
Because I want to show some ways that you can run at them too. Because again, they're a good run defense, but they also are susceptible to some of the things that they do well against opposing teams, and that's with pulling guards and pulling tight ends and misdirection. And James Conner pretty much ate them up with the same thing. He also ate them up with some screen looks. I mean, single high look, you get a pull. The Cowboys do things like that. You know what I mean? And it's not a 60-yard run, but it's one of those runs that it goes to screen you were talking about. Tight end screen. You know, these things are there against this defense. And here you go again. This same look you're going to see later on with the Cowboys. Get the pulling of the guard.
Yep.
One-on-one with the corner. Run against it. Touchdown.
Yep.
I mean, again, this is not a difficult defense to know what they're going to do pre and post snap. They aren't sophisticated in that manner. I don't think they can
set them up because of that. Like you can set them up because they're going to think they're going to get the same thing almost every time. Every time you see too high, even when they rotated there, you saw that was a big run due to the fact that they don't have Fred Warner's. Someone called him an off the ball linebacker. Fred Warner is a huge, and I'm not disrespecting him when I say this, he's a huge safety. Like he can cover better than he run supports, in my opinion. And I think when you get those guys out in space and they don't have that support from that additional safety or that loaded box, they're just as susceptible as anybody else to the run. And Pollard's healed up because I think he rested last week. He rested that ankle, and he definitely rested that plantar fasciitis on his foot as well. So hopefully Pollard can get us some chunk yardage like this on the ground. I like that breakdown though, man. I like that extra footage you threw in there. That was dope.
Yeah, I want to show some more here in a second, but matter of fact, I'm gonna just do it right now. I'm gonna do it right now, and then I'm gonna come out, and then I'm gonna get to some things that we can do that are successful. Let me rewind this so I can get back. Like I said, y'all, a lot of film today, so just bear with us. We got to finesse it. You know, we've got to finesse it this way because we ain't the big networks. But, again, getting back to some of the things that the Niners do well against opposing teams, you can do against their defense. And I'm talking about misdirection and attacking the edges, you know, getting the defense going one way and going the other. Jet motion, ending the rounds, these type of things work against the 49ers. Now consistently – no, right? Like, you can't do this every single game. And by the way, this isn't week 3. This is like 4 weeks ago or something like that, 3 weeks ago, whatever it's been. And you'll see opportunities both in the pass game and run game to attack the edges and to do one of the things you talked about, be physical. Here you go again, another pull of the tight end. And look at that. Physical. 51, that's a physical contact hit. Look what they do to Joey Bosa. Put him on the ground. Be physical. You know, they want to talk about physicality. The Cowboys can do those type of things. And I believe this is a play where we talked about their looks not being that creative in regards to disguise, right? One of the things the Cowboys struggle with is disguise, and we'll talk about that in a quick second after this film breakdown. They're going to blitz the cornerback off the edge, and they're going to have number 1. I think is that Ward? Can't remember if that's
Ward's
Ward
number
or not.
1, and Tart is 3.
Okay, so Ward's going to come and go guard Tyler Boyd. So this is an easy read for Joe Burrow. He's blitzing. If he picks him up, it's one-on-one on the outside. And one-on-one with Jamar Chase and those cornerbacks, that's lunch money.
Done.
So just imagine that being, you know, CD Lamb or being Amari Cooper, right? Like one-on-one against these corners are not all that great. This defense is more predicated on getting home than it is with designs and coverages on the back end. They're really not a sophisticated defense in that manner. They're a sophisticated front more than they are in their coverage ability. Another just zone beater. They're gonna send Fred Warner on his cover 2, and they're gonna have a guy come right up underneath them, and this is all by design. This is all by design right here. Fred Warner has to follow him. You just
ran him out of that zone on purpose.
right out the zone, Koye.
Yep.
I mean, these things are there. Obviously, you have to have time to complete it, but that's what they are. They're
you got to keep Dak up
team.
right early so he's not like rushing his throws and he doesn't feel, you know, the pressure. He has to relax in there and make sure he hits these reads and doesn't bail out on them early. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which one was this? Oh, this was just a simple. I think this was another cover 2 beater where they came underneath it. Right? We got to hit those windows. That was a 7 route, and this is I would love to see these sluggos. I would love to see these sluggos against this team, and Cooper does it better than anybody in the league, in my opinion. I would love to see that route be ran on this squad. So again, just more opportunities and ways for this Cowboys defense to, I think, have success. You know, Cowboys offense to have success against this 49ers defense. There's a ton of opportunities there, Koye, but you can't allow yourself to get out of your game, though. If you're down 14-17 and you just got to drop back, and they're just going to pin their ears back and get at you.
And they're going to come get you, You got to keep them honest. Keep them honest, and hopefully our defense, it's going to come down to defense stopping them in the first quarter. You can't let them get ahead because that's why they're so aggressive. They give you their best. We give you our best punch in the fourth. They give you their best punch in the first quarter because they know what type of team they are. They are not built to air it out at all. That's not how they're built. You know, they want to use Deebo Samuels in a bunch of different ways. They don't want to have him relegated to just wide receiver because they're down and they have to throw a lot. They want to be able to confuse you with the things that they do. All the motions that they use pre-snap and all the things they do with Deebo only work when they have the pace and they get to set the tone. And that's why they try to score early and kind of like pound you to death after the fact. That's kind of null and void when you're up. You kind of take all that out. All those motions that they have for runs as well, you kind of take that out of the equation when they're down because they're not going to run as often.
Well, they're a stubborn team, but I told somebody the other day, if the Cowboys get up 17-0, I don't think you're going to see them clamp up. They haven't done that all year.
I like the Rams.
Right. So, if they get up 17-0, the 49ers can afford to continue to run what they run because the Rams clamped up. Dallas usually gets up and they try to run up the score on you.
I take my hat off to Shanahan for that game because he did something that was a little crazy. He didn't run a lot, if you would say, like a lot after the fact, but he said, okay, we need one drive to do what we do so that we can reestablish ourselves. And he came out and he ran like 10 consecutive
Bro, he ran
times.
like 14 out of 16 plays in a row.
Yeah, he threw it 2 times. And one of the throws was
Debo Samuel?
Yeah, so it's like he literally ran the ball, the entire drive. And that was a drive that did 2 things. It tired the Rams defense out. They couldn't pin their ears back for the rest of that game because they were tired. Even Aaron Donald's get off was nothing after that.
Right.
And he's not as great as run support either. But they were tearing them up on the ground that drive. After that, they opened up and started throwing because they didn't have any time left.
They had to, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But they took the heat off of Garoppolo by doing that in that drive. They ate up a lot of clock, but they definitely destroyed the Rams scheme due to the fact that they were able to tire those guys out.
Niner fans and the coaching staff knew if we're going to win this game, it can't be in Garoppolo's hands in the third quarter. And they knew that. They came out in the third quarter and said, listen, we're just going to run our game. All we need to do is score one. If you score one touchdown in a 17-3 game, you're back in it because now it's 17-7 and you can go back to doing what you're doing. And that's what happened.
Yep.
I think the game changed to me where it was 3rd and 1, and for whatever reason, Sean McVay doesn't get enough heat. It was a lot of terrible decision-making in that game. 3rd and 1, up 17-0, end of that half, he goes empty. Against Joey Bosa, Rick Armstead, that pass rush that you were struggling with, he goes empty. And there's a big sack, and that I think turned that game around in the first half. They took the momentum and went and got a field goal.
Yep. When I argue with people about Kellen, those are the types of things that kind of make me scratch my head. Like we had we converted it though. I think it was against the Eagles. It was a 3rd and 3, and then we had to go for it on 4th and 3. When we're going for it on 4th down anyway, don't go empty 2 times in a row. Like, and the reason I say that is because when you have short yardage situations, the idea, even if you're not going to run, I don't care. The idea that you might is what helps you in regards to post snap. The defense still has to think about what you're doing. When we come out empty in those short yardage situations, like you just said, the Rams did. When you come out empty, they don't have to guess. They know they have to cover on the back end, but the defensive line gets amped up because they know all they have to do is fire off and go get you. You know what I mean? They know you're not running.
That Rams offensive line is not good with the Rams. So you go empty on 3rd and 1. I mean, what are you doing, man?
I hate it. I hate that.
Yeah, they shouldn't do it today. And again, we're in a few minutes, I'm going to show you some Cowboys film that in ways they can attack this defense for the 49ers as well.
Oh, yeah. That's my favorite part right here.
Yeah, but Okoye, before I get to that point, let's kind of talk about the defenses that have given the Cowboys struggles because I think there's a underlining consistency with it. And I don't know that many teams are talking about that. I don't think necessarily that the Niners present that type of challenge. Not saying this Niners defense this is a really good defense, but styles make fights, right? I went back and I looked, and the things that kind of kept coming up were either A, top tier secondaries, or A and B, a scheme that was very diverse in a disguising type of scheme. Think about it for a second.
Yeah.
Denver was the first one that caught us by surprise. They were the first one. Vic Fangio came out, by the way, one of, if not the best secondary in football, right? They have 2 top-tier safeties, a couple good corners, just a really damn good scheme as well. They can do disguising type things. Justin Simmons is an elite safety, and they definitely disguised the hell out of their coverages.
Damn good too, yeah.
Right? So, Denver had a combination of both of those things. We go look at Kansas City. They have, another elite safety in the Honey Badger who can roam around, allows you to do more disguising. They have just a really good defense in general, but I know the Burrow Bengals kind of went at the Chiefs that game, but they still have a solid secondary as well and a scheme that can do some disguising things. By the way, the Cowboys were down their top 2 wide receivers by halftime, but nonetheless, just going with the theme here. Arizona, Another elite safety, Buda Baker, allows you to disguise things. You're moving around. You don't know where this is going, where that's going. And then Vance Joseph, who was already a disguising type of coordinator, was down his best players.
Yeah,
so he went deep into his
pass.
bag.
Yeah, that's what they do. They try to stop the pass, even if they're not successful every game. The Arizona tries to take the big plays away and force you to do everything underneath. Those types of teams, like you said, and that trend is what gave us trouble.
They show a ton of the open close pre-post snap middle of the field looks. They did a bunch of that. In fact, no quarterback faced more of those disguising looks than Dak that week. And then I'm going to go ahead and give a hat tip to the New Orleans team as well, because our offense, it was a tough game, right? And while New Orleans doesn't have that disguising scheme, what they do have is what? An elite secondary. They have two of the best at the positions in Marshawn Lattimore and Marcus Williams, the cornerback safety tandem, and they still have a couple cornerback 2s and 3s that are pretty solid this year. They didn't do a ton of disguising, but they always make the passing game difficult on you because they can cover. They have a really good secondary.
Right.
Listen, the 49ers defense is a good defense, but do they have an elite secondary? Koye.
This can get ugly early.
Okay,
No, they don't.
Just follow me. Just follow me, because I'm trying to set this up that so people can understand this isn't a big bad wolf.
No, they don't.
They don't have an elite secondary, correct? In fact, one would say their biggest weakness on the entire team is their secondary.
That is their weakness.
Okay.
Yeah, that is their
Even
weakness.
49er fans will tell you that. They're not going to do a bunch of disguising. We literally just talked about that. We showed that, right? And even when they do pre-snap, post-snap disguising, it's very generic. It's, hey, I'm going to bring the safety down. I'm going to move the corner on the blitz. It's nothing that's going to rattle Dak in that sense, in my opinion.
Right.
It's
They don't
more
do a
so,
lot of exchanges. It's not a lot of communication going on. That's why.
No.
But they don't do a lot of exchanges post-snap or anything like that. They'll sneak. Like I said, you'll see that about 5 times a game.
I think they put more emphasis on their stunts and their games up front than they do behind them. And I call this team a get home team. This is a big time get home with 4 defense, meaning they're top 5 in sacks, but they're 20th in pressure rate. So if they're not sacking the quarterback, they're really not creating a ton of pressure unless you got a terrible offensive line like the Rams do. And if you do have a terrible offensive line, they can eat you up because I think they have a very talented front. Arik Armstead, whoever that 93 kid is a freaking terror. I think it's something Jones. Obviously Nick Bosa. I mean, they go about 6, 7, 8 deep up front to give you trouble. But again, it's mostly about sacking the quarterback with 4 because they're not going to blitz. They're 29th in blitz rate. So the things that were giving Dak problems throughout the year were creative defenses, right? Or defenses that played that cover 2 shell with top secondaries. And I don't think that is a case for the Niners.
You're 100% right. There's nothing to say against that. You can't refute that because and if you're going to stop the Cowboys, that's the way to do it, and they don't have it. So like I said, their best bet is putting the ball into a situation where we have to be predictable. So if they're up and they can pin their ears back and they put the ball in a situation where they can use their front 4 or their front 7 to kind of confuse Dak and get home and destroy some of our drives. And if we have some of those penalties that are destroy drives as well, those drive killing penalties like holds and false starts, things like that, that's their best bet in beating us. If we're setting the tone this game, I don't want to say it because it's like I'm not jinxing anything, but I'm not one of these guys that's scared of the 49ers, man. I really ain't. And it's not because we beat them before and we always whoop their ass. It's not even about that. It's when I look at them on film, like you just said, they're not an intricate team. The teams that scare you when it comes to Dak are teams that can that are dynamic on offense on the other side of the ball. They're dynamic on offense and also have defenses that can confuse you because you know that they can actually score on our defense. And like a KC, even though they didn't score a lot on us, those types of teams you look at because you know you have to score to be able to beat them. Yeah. You're not going to beat them 17 to 10 or 9. They're not going to beat us 19 to 9. I would take that, 10 times out of 10 that those games don't generally end in low scoring affairs. So those are the type of teams that you see on film and you say, okay, you have to worry about that. People are looking at the opposite side of the ball again. They're looking at like Debo, and they're saying like, okay, they got Debo Samuels, they got Mitchell. So, but
I
I
mean,
really do think Cedric Wilson is just as talented as a Debo Samuels, and we already know
you're gonna get
CeeDee
killed for
Lamb
that.
is. I really do. Everything I see them do with Debo Samuels, I see we do with Cedric Wilson. Whether you're throwing the ball, you're running out of the backfield, and as far as a receiver, I think he's a better receiver than Debo.
I mean,
in my opinion.
if we're going back to the Cowboys defense against their offense, it literally comes
Yeah.
down to handling the scheme. Debo and Kittle are amazing players. Don't get me wrong at all, but their scheme is what I'm most scared about. Because if you get caught off guard, if you move one misstep, one bite of a play action, you can get got over the top, middle of the field, Elijah Mitchell, Debo around the corner, things like that.
Yep.
There is no doubt about it. This offense for the Niners can
You hit
be
it with the scheme. Yeah, scheme.
it can be explosive. In fact, I think they have the most explosive plays, and it's because of the scheme, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Combined with a Debo Samuels type of and George Kittle yak monsters, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no doubt about it. You have to be disciplined. And if there was the obvious weakness that can be attacked from the Cowboys is, are the Cowboys able to contend with a running team that's going to run it and run it and run it and run it, right? Over and over and over and over. I went back and looked because a lot of people are talking about the Cowboys run defense. And for me, I think it's a solid run defense. It's not an elite run defense. It's not a poor run defense. I went back and looked. The one game Okoye that Dallas got dominated on the ground. It was only one. It's Denver.
Yeah.
And that happened to coincide with being the worst tackling game of the year for Dallas.
Yep.
14 missed tackles.
Yep.
Now, if you tell me, if you tell Sky, if you tell Okoye, the Cowboys are going to come to AT&T Stadium missing 14 tackles against this team, all bets are off. All bets are off.
They had something that was helping with that too. Williams, Javonte
Williams, one of the most. Yeah, he creates one of the most missed tackles.
He's like a young Zeke, man. He just bounces off of tackles, man. So it wasn't like we were just missing in space. He couldn't get to him. This dude, he carried Hamilton like 5 yards, man. He's just a different kind of guy. You know what I mean?
And that's about the closest you're going to get to a Shanahan style of scheme. They did a lot of pre-snap stuff, a lot of east-west eye candy stuff. That game was so weird, Okoye, because the Cowboys missed 14 tackles, but they also had something like over 5 tackles for loss in that game. So it was feast or famine in that game, and a lot of I think Osa Odigizua was good in the interior, getting in the backfield. I think Carlos Watkins had some opportunities. I believe that was a game where Michael was just ridiculous, sacking the quarterback and getting tackles for loss. So, and that was with the mobile-ish quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think a better downfield threat on the outside with Tim Patrick and Jerry Jeudy. They get downfield better than I think the Niners offense does. So,
right.
I truly do believe it's going to be about stopping their offense, stopping their run game, and putting it on Jimmy.
Right.
Now back to the Cowboys defense real quick.
Let's get it.
I want to bring this up. Are we still good on Facebook? I want to make sure we're still up here because I know we got a lot of people. By the way, shout out to everybody in the building. We have over 800 people in the building right now via YouTube and Facebook, and even some Niner fans are in here. Hey, Niner fans, by the way, listen, this is a Cowboys channel. We are going to talk about how the Cowboys can beat y'all. That's just is what it is.
What it is. Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. You know, so don't get upset. But honestly, I need to make sure we good on Facebook. I'm sorry, not Facebook, YouTube.
Yeah.
We still good on YouTube? Let me get a thumbs up from my YouTube compadres because I'm not seeing them pop up over here.
I see a lot of Facebook over there too.
You see that too?
Yeah.
Are we good over here on YouTube?
Let me make sure I'm gonna go and check it out myself.
Yeah, because the chat. Okay, so somebody in the chat said we good.
Yeah, I think you are.
All right, it's not popping. It's not you see that? It's not reading over here.
Yeah, I don't see any comments from YouTube. I see them all from Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, button up, y'all. We're hold tight, not button up. We need to button up. Hold tight. I'm gonna go ahead and get to some of this film for the Cowboys run game. All right. So, Okoye, these are some of the things that Dallas did well earlier in the season, pulling a tight end, getting some snap motion, and didn't we just see some of those things were successful against? You know what? I can't pull that up because you're not going to be able to hear it. So let me. I forgot they're not going to be able to hear it that way.
Yeah.
So let me try it a different way, y'all. Let me try it a different way, and we're finessing this thing right now. We got to finesse it. All right, let me get this in here. Boom. I want to pull up the Cowboys versus the Eagles footage. There's a reason why I want to do that. Because I think this team is more close to the Eagles and how they play defense than the Denver Broncos, than the Kansas City Chiefs, than any of those guys. Can you hear me now, Koye?
Yep. I got you.
If you look at the Eagles defense, they give up about 107 yards per game on the ground. The 49ers, 103. 49ers give up 4 yards per carry. Philadelphia Eagles, 4 yards per carry. Another thing the Eagles don't do, they don't blitz a ton. Another thing the Eagles do, they want to run 4. They want to beat you with 4 guys. Another thing they don't do, they don't disguise a lot. So I said, let me go back and look at some of this footage and see what the Cowboys can do against a team like the Philadelphia Eagles. And we talked about pulling tight ends, pulling guards, snap motion. That worked very well. Where did this go, Okoye?
In the gutter. I have no clue, man. I was looking at it like, damn, I would have never said anything about Kellen had he done this all year. I really wouldn't. Dead serious. I was looking at this and smiling because it was like,
wait till the Tampa game. Wait till we get to that.
Yeah, it's a blast from the past. Like I haven't seen much of this at all.
Martin pulling Schultz and getting you a good yards here.
And beyond that, it's not just the looks either or the calls. It's also the execution from the players, like the way they're blocking themselves. Like we might call some of these plays, but maybe they're getting blown up and we just don't see them develop, or they're in the play call for the drive, but that drive gets killed due to a hold or something like that. But I haven't seen a lot of this stuff for whatever reason executed properly.
And I love this play
since week 8.
You called this a cloud coverage?
Yeah, because on the opposite side, they're running. He's running deep thirds on the opposite side, but it's cover 2 on this side. So in that caught Slay in cover 2 on the front side, and he made him make a choice. He said, "Hey, you crashed down. I got you." Either way, but these types of plays make it so that Dak doesn't have to think as much post snap. It's better than 4 button hooks. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like these types of plays make it so that Dak can get the ball snapped, and he says, "Okay, I know if I read just this half of the field, I got it." He doesn't have to go to a second progression because 2 of his progressions, the entire choice is all on one side of the field. So he knew. He said, if he comes down, I got him. If he goes up, I got him. Either way, he knew what to do with the ball. He doesn't have to go to another look.
Again, simple at snap motion moves the linebacker out the way, and you get a good 5-6 yard gain. I mean, this is against light boxes that you're mostly going to see with the Niners, unless a Tiger changes his stripes.
Facts.
You go again. More. This is the type of running game I wanted to see out of shotgun. We weren't seeing that over the last few weeks, but I think you could see that come back at home against a team that's going to play more too high type of coverage. Kellen Moore has this in his repertoire. We've seen it. We've seen it. We're going to look at the Tampa Bay game as well in a few minutes, and there's a lot in that game that you can do against a team like this. I mean, it's there. We talk about the tight end screen. There you go.
There you go.
It's in the book. In fact, I'd rather them run a tight end screen, Koye.
if you're gonna do any screens, do it with Schultz because that's who he has the timing with. They have very good chemistry when it comes to them screening. They did that even against the Cardinals. I think they were successful only with Schultz at screens. So I don't mind a screening, but stop throwing those running back screens, wide receiver hitch and hitch routes, things like that. I think you should just screen with the tight end, and it should work because him and Schultz have good chemistry on almost everything that they do together.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring that up to Cowboys Nation because we've been saying it for weeks that, hey, there's plays in the bag that we've seen earlier in the season that we're just not, or not even just plays, right? Deliberate schematic game plans that we saw earlier in the season that we haven't seen since. And the other game is the Tampa game, which I'll get to in a second, but I'm still trying to get why this chat is not popping up. It's all good. We'll figure it out. But the Tampa game is even more glaring. Let me pull that game up.
That was crazy.
Let me pull that game up for y'all. And
where did he go?
Where did it go? Where did a lot of this stuff go? But I think you'll see it again with Kellen because you can't hold anything back, man. You just can't hold anything back
today, like or now. What are you doing?
All right, here again, another. And by the way, I have tight end screen out of 12 here because one thing I would not do against the Niners defense is deliberately run 12 and run the ball out of a standard bunch formation in 12.
They just keep doing it. Yeah,
boy, they good at that. You know, teams are averaging less than 4 yards per carry on the ground from the 12 formation. And if you go 13, like the Rams did a bunch of times for whatever reason going into last week, the Niners were giving up 1.5 yards per carry on the ground when you come out in that 13 look.
You can't tell them you're running the ball and then expect to be successful. That's pretty much it. They're built for it.
So if you're going to go 12, do more of this. You know, do more of these tight end screens out of it because I think they'll be successful. We just showed some film earlier how these screens worked against the Niners defense. So I wouldn't necessarily, you know, a lot of people are excited about the 12 stuff. I'm a little on the fence. I mean, I texted you the other day, didn't I? I was like, yo, I don't know how I feel about running out of 12 a bunch against this team. They're doing an excellent job. Where's this at, Koye?
I don't know,
21 personnel, TP, play action, at snap, easy yak stuff here, bro.
Yep.
Hold on, let me run that back one time for one time.
Pre-snap option. Pre-snap option because if they don't follow, you know you got Zeke on the front end, you could have just ran it. You know what I mean? So I love plays like that.
I could be misremembering.
They can hand this ball off if they shift to try to stop Pollard on this play. They just don't shift. Look, no movement out of the linebacker, so you don't run the ball.
He's coming here, false step to 45, easy. I mean, this is easy stuff. These are long handoffs that we, for whatever reason, just kind of ignored the rest of the way. And this is the one I loved here, the fake screen two-way go route. Here we go. Watch it.
There we go.
Watch it. Fake screen on both sides. He commits.
Now, I would love to see that. Now, maybe that's why he was setting them up all year with those little hitch routes. Maybe he's setting them up
boom.
to keep it, to be able
I mean,
to do
he's got it. He's got it here.
Because this was beautiful right here.
He's got it here.
Yeah, I love this.
I don't think we saw this play.
I haven't seen that again. I haven't seen it again.
Exactly. Another one. 21 personnel. This time, instead of TP being out wide, TP's in the slot. But it's run off the same motion. Play action. Look, he bites.
No shift.
No shift.
Every time they didn't shift, he just threw it out. He knows I can just throw it out there because the linebackers aren't following him at all. If they shift it, then I run it. They didn't shift because they trust their speed so much over there in Tampa. They think that they can get there anyway, which he almost does. But
so these are easy reads, right? I mean, just against teams that are not going to do a bunch of disguising. This is the one we really loved. It's a pre-snap motion that sets up leverage for 19. Now, the read you're going to get, it's a very easy read for Dak. Here's a pre-snap. He sees 43 follow. He knows.
Here's the switch.
Yes. If there's a switch, I have the leverage with 19 because he's inside. If they don't switch, 19 is going to create like a mini rub, and you'll get a first down with Seth Wilson. They switch, boom, there's the leverage. That's one-on-one. You're done.
I have to think.
He
just has to execute.
I don't think I've seen that though. Now with Michael Gallup, you're not going to do a bunch of that, but
exactly. And that's the one thing. Like I said, Gallup is still one of my favorite guys on this team.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing that Sed does bring to this offense that Gallup doesn't, which is a lot more lateral explosion, which you have to respect because he's more Wes Welker than he is, a guy that you can go over the top. He's not a Des Bryant type of guy. He's a Wes Welker, work underneath, and he can get over top too, though, because he has that speed. But that speed you have to respect because of that. You can create a lot of mismatches when you move him around.
Right.
And that was another thing when we were talking earlier in the year about what changed in this offense. Gallup coming back did also change this offense as well because Cedric Wilson went back to the bench and we stopped doing a lot of these things.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And again, I wanted to show all of this because as fans, it's easy to forget that this is in our bag. There was a point in time where we was, how do you want it? You know what I mean? There was a point in time where we saying, how you want to get hit? Huh? You want to get hit with Zeke and TP? You want to get hit with Kellen Moore, dicing you up, and then Dak just airing it out? How you want to get hit? And then for whatever reason, that clamped up.
For whatever reason.
For whatever reason. But
I ain't gonna name no names.
My man KD Drummond said, and I'm paraphrasing here, if you believe Kellen Moore is not about to go, insane in regards to dialing it up with all these head coaching opportunities out there and kind of holding back a little bit, you're crazy. And I'm kind of that ilk too. Call it blind optimism, but I just feel Okoye, with the opportunities he has in front of him, and obviously he's been holding back.
Yeah,
I think he's going to let it all out, and it's not even that it has to be cute stuff, fam.
If he does, if he pulls what we call Beta Kellen now, then I'm going to be pissed because there's no reason, there's no logical reason to do so. Like if you're not going to lay it all out on the line when you got all these head coaching jobs on the line, then you're right. It doesn't make any sense. Shout out to KD too.
Yeah, I'm just getting back to the chat because I don't have the chat up here.
Oh, you don't? I wonder why it froze. I'm like, I don't see anything up there. It's just the
so
same.
I had to go into.
It's the same one.
It's all Facebook. But I went over here and I see somebody says sky is always falling in Dallas. I don't even know what that means.
Oh, the sky is always falling.
Oh, the sky is always falling. Okay,
yeah, he didn't talk about you.
Yeah, I'm like, sky is always falling. What you mean, bro?
What you mean? Oh, you went to go get some smoke? Sky's like, hold on, time out on the show.
No, I see Niner fans up in here, so you know.
Oh, all right. I'm about to say, like, I don't even be caring what they said over there. They be talking mad shit.
Listen, man, I said this all week. I am really, really, really struggling with the fandom / professional part.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta tell them though when you like. I know what I get. Like on Sundays, I know I'm in fandom, so I tell them I'm coming at you like a fan today. Don't bother me. And then when I'm doing some film, I try to be a little bit more professional.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I do teeter along that line too, though. So I know what you mean.
It's tough right now because it's the playoffs, man. It's
everything is fandom right now.
Facts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all. So, I don't blame Niner fans for feeling the same way, but, we ain't no slouches over here. And a lot of, I feel like networks are making Dallas out to be something they are not, and that's an inferior team. They ain't.
They're comparing us to the Rams. We're not the Rams.
Not the Rams, dog. Matt Stafford got like 17 interceptions in the second half of the year.
Right.
So what we talking about?
He said the second half.
The second half. Not even, you know what I mean? The whole second half. But all right, look, let's go ahead and do our hashtag A to Z. I wish you could slow down these damn. There's a way to slow down the comments. I got to figure it out.
They flying now.
They flying in there. So we're gonna try to get to as many as we can get to. Now, hashtag A to Z, for those that do not know, means you type in hashtag A to Z with a question, and then we'll try to answer the question as best we can. And yes, Niner fans, you can join in. If you're going to troll, that's cool. Y'all seem to be cool in here. It's just friendly banter going on right now. But hashtag A to Z, Niner fans, Cowboys fans, whoever you are in here, if you got a question for us, we'll try to answer it best we can, be it film stuff, be it just in general. If you see something or you want to know something and you want our opinion, we'll go ahead and try to answer. Aisha said it's been like that all week, Sky. Yeah, I know. Trust me, man. It's been crazy out here in the Twitter streets and the social medias and the networks and how they doing Dallas right now. It's weird. Hashtag A to Z Stage says, do you see this being a said game this week? Do you see this being a Cedric Wilson game this week?
I do. Because he's there. There hasn't been. Well, if you look at Dak when he throws the set, he gets like 130 passer rating. Yeah, throwing a set. And whenever Sed's been in the game, he's been one of Dak's trusted targets. It's like when Dak sees Sed in the game, he'll throw him the ball like crazy. He likes to throw it to the slot anyway because he throws the CD more than he does Coop, as we already know. But he also, when he sees Turner in there, he'll throw it to him too, like crazy. He just targets him as soon as he gets in there. But I think Sed will get a heavy dose this week due to the fact that he and Dak have pretty good chemistry, and he's an automatic mismatch anywhere you put him.
I'll say I think it depends how they adjust to Amari Cooper. If Amari Cooper is featured, which by the way, I don't know if you saw the stat, the Cowboys are something like 8-1 when Cooper gets over 50 yards. So I don't know if that means anything, but if Amari Cooper is featured early, as you noted in your breakdown, it forces the Niners to now have to adjust and do some coverage things focusing to Amari, right? And that's where you can sneak your MVSs and your Lazards, which is basically Cedric Wilson, behind the safeties. And we talk about Sed being, good in the middle of the field. Sed is really damn good deep too. So it can be depending how they adjust to Amari Cooper.
Right.
See, I had some more here. These comments is flying. I got to figure out how to slow them down. Tyler Powell, hashtag A to Z. If Colt McCoy baptized that ass, how bad you think Dak is going to put it on? Y'all ain't right. It's a week-to-week league, man. But, yeah, they did lose to Colt McCoy. I mean, the Niners have 7 losses, but if you listen to people, you would think they undefeated. So, man, they lose the Colt, and they lost. You know,
they not 15 and was it 15-2? They're not 15-2.
I don't think I've ever seen a team get is the word chastise as much as the Cowboys for whooping on bad teams, right? Like they don't just beat them, they whoop on them.
Yeah.
But when other teams are losing to these bad teams, it's like they just
and the Niners, they're like, we're the hottest team coming into the playoffs. Like they played the Jags, they played Seattle, they played the Bengals. Not like the Bengals, the trash.
Swept by Seattle, by the way.
They played the Texans.
Bad team, but
you know what I mean. They're playing teams that didn't make the playoffs too. You know, we don't choose the schedule. We just go fast when we line up. Yeah, we can't help it.
Tim Garcia, hashtag A to Z. How confident are you guys that we get a defensive touchdown? Defensive touchdowns are hard, so I put that on the low end.
I would say 50-50 because I think we get a turnover. Where that turnover goes is who knows, but I say it's 50-50 because I do believe Garoppolo will give us opportunities for those defensive touchdowns, especially if we decide to line Diggs up on Debo for the majority of the game, which I don't think we'll do. But if we catch them in those types of looks where they decide to target Debo while on Diggs, Garoppolo is still going to throw the ball at him because he didn't shy away from Ramsey much. Like when he saw Ramsey on Kittles, he still attacked him. When he saw Ramsey on Debo, he still attacked him at least 3-4 times that game. So if he does that, he got an opportunity.
Well, this is funny you say Debo. Hashtag A to Z from D Black. Can y'all please tell us who matches up well with Debo? Koye, I want to hear you first because I've been back and forth mentally with this one.
It depends on what Debo's doing. That's the thing. Like if Debo's moving around, you have him playing like DJ Moore, a lot of close to the line of scrimmage type stuff. I like Anthony Brown because he's been good at like sifting through screens and still making those tackles. Bossman, I haven't seen enough film to say what he's good or bad at. I like Bossman a lot. I just don't know what his tendencies are yet.
I hear you.
I really don't. But if you're just lining him up as a wide receiver, Diggs is pretty good against physical, tight physical receivers. So if you're just lining them up on the line of scrimmage, I say, I don't mind Diggs being on him. If you're moving him around, throwing a lot of screens at him, I like the way Anthony Brown's been playing and tackling this year near the line of scrimmage. If you notice, not many of those hitch routes have been successful to his side all year. Slants, hitches, digs, anything short against Anthony Brown, he's been pretty good at tackling and stopping the ball, and that's what they try to do with Debo. And I will say this to Boss Man's credit, though. Boss Man did come down and smack the hell out of Humphreys on that hitch route, man. Too. Yeah, so he can do it. I don't think that there's a corner that can't guard Debo from a passing perspective. It's just about tackling the football, and that's why I say Anthony Brown.
That's a great answer. You talked me off the ledge about Boss Man because I think I might got hype off of Boss Man, seeing how physical he's been over the last few weeks. But there's obviously more proof in the pudding with Anthony Brown. So you talked me into AB. And this is not about Diggs can't do it. It's just that they utilize Debo Samuel. 60% of his targets are at the line of scrimmage or within 0 to 9 yards. So they're going to force you to tackle. But if you got Diggs on Debo and he's running, doing normal wide receiver things, I don't think Debo's that guy.
Nothing.
He got 1,400 yards receiving, and I believe half or more than half of that is from yak. And from play action, getting wide open, busted coverage. I'm knocking about busted coverage, but their scheme, they scheme him open well.
He's not an Amari Cooper. That's what I'm saying. And that's not a disrespect to him. He's more CD than Amari, even though CD can do a little bit more as a receiver, I think. But CD's a yak guy too, a guy that you throw him the ball and he's going to make something happen. And Debo's the same way.
What Debo does well, I don't think there's many like him. You know what I mean? That can be an elite runner with the ball after the catch, an elite runner in the backfield. He's different. He's just a different style of receiver, which makes him tough because from a pure cornerback perspective, he makes you have to basically defend a running back. So tackling is going to have to be at a premium.
Yep.
D Black says hashtag A to Z. Nobody's talking about Juwan Jennings. He's a problem. I actually brought him up. Let me see if I can pull up the Niners weapons from the other day. Do I have it? Nope, I got the meters up here. Let me see. I do have the Niners weapons. There you go. And Juwan Jennings was definitely one of the guys that I had up here. He's come on late in the season, Okoye, kind of one of those underrated guys.
Number 11?
What number? Hey, y'all, is he 15? I think he's 15.
Okay.
His coach talked about him. He said, man, he plays blacked out 95% of the time. So one of those tough as nails fits their mode. You know what I mean? Another guy like, that they can get you with some of those trick plays, Debo coming around, you kind of forget, 15 don't get the rock, and then boom, right over top of your head.
They 15, I watched in that Packers game, the way they used him there. They would just flood zones, and he's just good at sitting down in certain spots, and they have good chemistry. He has good chemistry with Garoppolo. So, yeah, I would agree with you there. I haven't seen him, and I haven't watched a lot of 49ers film, but I haven't seen him, like, dominate anybody.
No,
in the 3 games that I watch. I haven't seen it where it's like 15's over there one-on-one, we got him. It's like he's great at, like, sitting down and finding the soft spots, the zones, and him and Garoppolo have great chemistry.
We have a hashtag A to Z. I think he's saying Terrence Steele, does he start? I mean, to answer the question, no, I don't think he'll start, but it sounds like you want him to start. I think that's what the guy is insinuating. Listen, I think Lyle is up for the challenge here. He's played against really good defensive ends all year. He's lost some, he's won some. Listen, if y'all think Terrence Steele is just going to solve a Nick Bosa problem, you're in for a rude awakening. I mean, Nick Bosa is Nick freaking Bosa.
He did whoop his brother's ass. It's like what you call it, Coming to America. He did whoop your Lewis's ass. I
think the team did a good job with that. It wasn't like he just absolutely hammered Nick Bosa. Or sorry,
not
Joey
by himself.
Bosa.
No, I thought him
we won some reps.
Him and Schultz did a good job against him that game, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Bosa is going to be a problem. Period. No matter who's out there. So I don't. But to answer the question, no, I don't think they're just going to automatically start him in this game.
No, I don't think he starts either. Yeah.
You may see him in some of those 7 or 6 offensive lineman lineups, which, again, I'd be careful doing a lot of that. Because once you tighten it up and bunch it up, go watch that Rams tape. I don't know what the hell McVay was thinking. His scheme, he loves to get these little...
He was thinking the right way, trying to run the clock out. That's what he was trying to do, but he just did it out of the wrong sets. He should have did it out of a spread look where they come out thinking pass, and then you just run the ball anyway. You know what I mean? So... You're right. I don't know why he went out and did. He just abandoned his identity in the second half. You're not a power run team.
No.
So why would you come out trying to do that in the second half? Doesn't make any sense.
When teams run out of 11 personnel, spreading them out, they average over 4 yards per carry on this team. When you try to bunch it up, it's less than 4 yards per carry. And when you try to bring out 3 offensive line or 3 tackles or 3 tight ends, it's less than 2 yards per carry. So if you tell them, hey, we're going to run the ball, the Niners will stop you.
Right. Yeah, you got to run when they're thinking pass. That's how you got to do them.
Lance Bell says, hashtag A to Z, will special teams play a significant part in this game?
Of course.
Seem like they always do.
Always does. And we have a pretty good special teams unit. Shout out to Bones Fossil. Like I said, we blocked the most punts this year out of any team. And I think someone said it was like, I don't know, was it 8 years or 18 years? I don't remember. But we blocked since the last time we've blocked a punt or something like that. I don't remember how long it was, but I think that special teams is always going to be a factor. And then our punter is pretty damn good too. Was it Anger? That's the name. I don't even know his name.
Yeah, but, Brian Anger.
Our punter's pretty damn good too, though. So I think that if we can make this a field position type of matchup as well, keeping it so that the 49ers have to drive on you, I think that bodes well for us. So yeah, I think it'll be major.
I'm just going through these comments. There's a Niner fan in here that's really upset that
he's upset.
We're talking
really?
about Cowboys.
The Cowboys
right? That's what I was getting at. Like, I think it's hilarious. He's like, "Oh man, you guys don't do anything bad." Blah 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 blah. Sir, you clearly don't come to this channel, right? You clearly don't know how we discuss our team. We've talked about our flaws all year. We've even talked about the flaws against this matchup.
Oh
But
yeah,
once
we
again,
dog our team more than anybody else. I
he
think.
don't know.
So
He don't. You're
if
not
you're
around
doing it
him.
wrong, we coming for your neck, man.
You're
Like,
not around
period.
him. But
I
if you,
call Kellen a beta most of the year.
yeah, he don't know. But if you think you're gonna come on this channel and play in the playoffs, and I'm just gonna sit here and list why the Cowboys are going to lose and things like that, you're wrong. Go to the Niners YouTube community. I'm pretty sure they'll be talking about that. Okay.
Fact.
In fact, if you want to go see all the reasons why Dallas will lose, just turn on ESPN, turn on Fox, turn on any of these networks, fam.
You get all that.
We
Go
are
watch Shannon and
exactly. We're the balance. You know what my man say? Thanos. We're the balance.
Right.
You know, there's a knife right there. We balance it all out, okay? You're going to get all that negativity over there. We're going to show you how and why the Cowboys can win here, okay? With some sprinkling in of what the concerns are. So if you're going to get a little in your feelings about that, brother, you're on the wrong channel, man.
Facts.
Hashtag A to Z, do you think the Dallas defense can stop the 49ers running game? Everyone is hollering about it. Yeah, we kind of talked about that earlier, but yeah, go ahead.
Do I think the Cowboys can stop the Niners run game?
Yeah, it's pretty a question.
I mean,
they have to stop the Niners running game.
Of course. No, we're going to get run. They're going to put up 375 yards on, you know what I mean? Like, no. Yeah, but there's more than one way to skin a cat, so to speak, man. Like, the Niners have a great run game because they're in situations where they can run the ball consistently. You can't run the ball consistently if you're not scoring early. So I think part of stopping their run game is our offense scoring early and putting them in position so that they have to throw and then they don't elect to run as often. So there's more than one way to stop the run. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, these comments are flying, but I did see one in here that I wanted to get to. Damn.
You lost it.
Yeah, got lost in the shuffle. These things is moving. I think it was along the lines. More Niners just kind of. The Cowboys can't stop the run. The Niners,
they gone.
Yeah, they
gone. I was trying to read one just now. That just jumped.
Yeah, I think it was something along the lines. The Cowboys can't stop the run. The Niners can't be stopped. Newsflash: the 49ers are 7th in the league in rushing. Why are we acting like the 49ers are the greatest rushing team of all time?
And why they act like we don't run the ball too? Like we can run the rock,
right?
Yeah, and we could stop the run too. When we weren't in stretches, when we weren't playing well against the run, it's been when Micah Parsons has been asked to be a full-time DN. Mm-hmm. That's when we suffered versus the run most times. The only time when he was in the middle of the field for most of the game and we got run on, you already talked about, and that was Denver. Other than that,
that's what I'm saying.
He's in the middle of the field, you don't run the ball on the Cowboys. Really, that's why I'm not as worried, because he's not going to have to play DN because we have Law in there. He's not going to have to play DN this game.
Again, I went back and looked because I'm like, I get it. If there was the two Cowboys weaknesses on defense is they're susceptible to the big play, right?
Right.
And the perception of them not being able to stop the run. And I say perception because if you actually go break it down, you'll see that they've done well for the most part against running backs. And what I mean by that is because you go look at the Saints game, you'll see, they had over 100 yards. No, Taysom Hill started running in the fourth quarter because they couldn't throw the ball anymore. So Taysom Hill was getting a ton of yards. But we shut that running game
Even
down.
The big play is the same thing. Like when we give up big plays, other than that Tom Brady, I think, and Mac Jones, when we give up big plays, it's usually because a quarterback can get off the spot and our secondary has to cover longer.
Yeah, I mean, they're just big plays can be made on the defense. There's no doubt about it because we run a man scheme, right? So if a lot of those over routes, a lot of those drags, turn from 10 yards to 20 yards or 20 yards to 40 yards. So we are susceptible to the big play. There's no doubt about it.
That's actually the reason that Boss Man's in there too. You just named it. Those over routes. People
Jay Lou was
getting
work.
Yeah, those over routes. People were like, Diggs has been stopping over routes all year. So has Anthony Brown. He's been doing it successfully most of the year. Where we were having trouble, and that's what we're going to see all year because we're cover 1 and cover 3. When we're having trouble is when you have Lewis having to guard those over routes. He's been getting beat on those. He got beat against the Raiders for a touchdown, a 56-yard touchdown against Jackson. He got beat against Judy on one of those routes. So, and then we got beat also in the Arizona game in the same look. So that's the reason they have Boss Man in there. Somebody said that on Twitter, like, why is Boss Man starting over Lewis? And that's why.
Hey, chat, y'all want to tell this guy? I guess this Ahmad Z. Y'all Niner fans are weird.
What do you
Will
say?
Still, you're like Skip Bayless when it comes to the Cowboys. Skip
You say you
Bayless?
escape Bayless.
I want to tell him,
Jesus.
chat.
Yeah, nah.
Oh, goodness, man. You
That's
Niner
all
fans
lies.
are, boy. Let me find some actually. Is there any Niner fans that have anything real to say here? Or because I would like to get some of your questions answered here, but this is more kind of
It's just
just
emotion.
weird trolling stuff here.
Emotional thugs, man.
Skip Bayless. That's hilarious. Somebody did ask about, like you said, Boss Man Fat and J. Lou. I do think Boss Man Fat will start on the outside, and then they're going to move AB inside.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do.
I feel like that's what's going to happen here.
Or those over routes because they know AB can guard those, and I think that's gonna make AB even better in my opinion. I think he's better inside. So hopefully this switch is a good one for us because I don't want to discredit J. Lou either. I think J. Lou's played pretty good this season, but the reason why he's not going to be starting is because of those over routes, in my opinion. That's what he was getting beat on, and unless he's injured, I think that's why they took him out.
No, I don't think he was.
Yeah,
They benched him in the middle of what game was that?
Arizona.
A Cardinals game, yeah, Cardinals game. And then if you listen to Boss Man's post game after the Eagles, it was clear he was going to start no matter what, no matter if AB caught COVID or not. He was going to start in that game, and they were going to put AB in the slot, which I still consider a starter.
Yeah.
Marcus said hashtag A to Z. If their front four doesn't get home, then what for the Niners? Oh, well, we showed you.
Good night.
The coverage sack thing is very rare with them. If you got a good quarterback, in my opinion, they aren't going to dial up this amazing, great call on the back end. And it works for them. It works for them, right? Like, hey, get home with 4. Nick Bosa, Rick Armstead, Jones, that front. It's hard to block. They run a wide 9 to Koye, and they know how to get Bosa one-on-one. If he doesn't beat you by himself, then he'll come around on that over and with the game, and he can get home that way too. So it's most definitely feast or famine, I think, from
that's what it's about.
Good passing teams I've seen. But it's a lot of feast though, right? Like they'll feast on you. They're top 5 in sacks.
And when they feast, it hurts.
Indeed. Trying to find some more in here, man. It's a lot, so I think we're gonna end it on that one. Wait, might have found one. No. Hold on. Brian's knowledge of the Cowboys on defense side of things play out this week. What kind of wrinkles do you think he has? Who's Brian? Justin Lomker says, how will Brian's knowledge of the Cowboys on the defense side of things play out this week?
Yeah, who is Brian?
I'm not sure who Brian is. Well, let me ask you this. What do you think about the matchup between Quinn and Kyle Shanahan? Who has the advantage there because they know each other?
I mean, I don't think there's any advantage. I think if not from the coaches' perspectives themselves, but if you look at it talent on talent, I do think Quinn has the advantage there because we're very deep defensively. And I think Fred Warner actually touched on that. We have star players at almost every position on defense, period. So I think that the play call, play style, I think Shanahan's definitely very creative. But when it comes to Quinn this year, he's kind of changed his own stripes as well because he's been a historic cover 3 zone guy. You know what I mean? And he's been playing cover 1 man almost all year with us. So Quinn's been a little bit dynamic too. And then also he comes out in big nickel, depending on who we're playing. You'll come out big nickel to try to stop those 12 personnel type of looks. But then we can also go, dime and nickel and as well. So because of Curse, we're able to play even our base, and it looks like big nickel due to the fact that we're really in base, but he's playing will linebacker in those sets. So Quinn has some creativity to him too this year, more so than historically speaking. So I think Quinn has the advantage due to the fact that we have so many different pieces that can hurt you on this defense versus just Debo, Kittle, in my opinion, on offense for those guys. So they have to be super window dressy and creative to kind of get those guys.
Yeah,
open.
One-on-ones is what you're saying.
Right.
We got more guys that can beat you one-on-one.
Right. Just straight up, I line up, I beat you. You know what I mean? We got that.
Mark, he's a little skeptical of Devontae or Boss Man Fat starting. I'm going to disagree with him here. He says because Devontae Smith was eating him alive in the Eagles game. He wasn't. Devontae Smith caught a tip pass, a dropped interception from Boss Man, and then he got a dig route or out route for 12 yards, but then nothing was eating him alive in that game, Then he came out the game. So I would disagree that he was getting eaten alive. And he was going to, like I said, he was going to start because they want to move AB inside. And I think they were talking about DeMeco Ryans as opposed to Brian. So I don't know.
I don't know what DeMeco Ryans knows.
He's their defensive coordinator. I don't know what. I'm not really
what
quite
does he
sure.
know about the Cowboys that's so special?
I don't know. If that's what he was talking about, I'm not sure. Yeah. Sean Moyer, appreciate you for the donation, which I'll exit with those. He says, I feel we need to get creative and get the ball out to the edges fast with Pollard, Lamb, Zeke to start. 8-14, I'm not sure what that means, before trying to take them up the gut. Lots of runs equals better play action, more time for Dak. A lot there. But, yeah, we talked about that in the film breakdown, right?
I love the edge because I want you running right at Bosa, to be honest with you, early, right off the edge. So I want a lot of chips, and I want him playing as much versus the run early on as possible, so that if we need to stand back there late in the games, like we said in that breakdown, like we got him. So
right.
I agree with you. And we've been saying off the edge all year anyway.
All year.
We want Williams and those guys getting out and pulling.
And when you look at the tape from the Niners, teams had success attacking the edges, pulling a guard, center, tight end, and getting out there as opposed to trying to run right up the middle when you bunch it up. So, yeah, I'm all for it, attacking those edges. Easy.
Facts.
And with Tony Pollard's top 10, top 5 in so many categories, attacking off the tackle or outside. Like, I haven't mentioned his name all day except for when we showed the film. Tony Pollard could really be the X factor offensively.
It depends on how healthy he is. He is the X factor. If you watch how he played against the 49ers last time we played him, Tony Pollard destroyed the 49ers last time he played.
Oh, with that run, yeah.
Oh my God. I was like, damn, we didn't even block him up good. He broke 7 tackles.
Yeah, that was the game. And it's so crazy because he caught a lot of heat for whatever reason. Because I get it. He didn't do too much prior to that, but that's the thing about Tony Pollard, right? And I showed that all year. In fact, I'll show some. Let me find the highlights.
He did that against the Saints too. He didn't do a lot. He had 73 yards, I think, against the Saints.
Right, and
58 of them were on one play.
But that's the point of getting Tony Pollard involved. When your run game is struggling, Tony Pollard can open it up because he's an explosive runner.
You only need one.
You only need one, and TP can get that for you. So. I've been kind of hammering this thing home for multiple years, not even just this year. Whenever we've struggled with Zeke in a ground game, I'm like, well, why not give Pollard the ball more? He'll bust it open, and now the game is different. Now you can run Zeke and keep tiring him out. But one of the things I like what you said is make them fall all over the damn place. You know what I mean? Make them feel it. Make them have to keep getting up, And I'm not saying be stubborn with it, but someone asked in there, what's the number? I don't think it's about a number. Obviously, game script is going to play a factor in this. I think it's
situations change that. Yeah.
Right. I think it's actually about how you run the ball.
Right.
And here's another one with Tony Pollard. I don't know if you can see it here. The Wildcat fake in the round. We only saw that play twice this year, which, okay, I get it. Don't call that a bunch, but, if it works, it works. You know what I mean?
Beautiful right there. Yeah.
We did that against the Bucks, too. Jet sweep.
Zeke got the lead blocker.
And then they got a jet sweep against the Chargers for a touchdown in the red zone. Like, these things never really came back up to manifest themselves. But we were running 21 personnel with Zeke and TP a lot earlier in the season, and then it went by the wayside. So maybe we'll see some more of it against a team who's going to give you favorable looks. You just got to block it up. They got a good front. All right, let me get to these super chats, and we can get on up out of here, man. I already did Mr. Sean Moyer. Big Country.
Super chat.
$5 donation says, do we believe, I think we said that, do we believe we can stop the run game? So I think we talked about that already.
Super chat.
Justin, I think I'm reading some of these super chats I already read already. So DeMeco Ryans, the defensive coach, he says, how well does he know the coach? How well does the Niners defensive coach know how the Cowboys offense works? Well, just probably about as much as
anybody else.
Defensive coordinator. I don't believe he was a defensive coordinator last year for them. I think this is his first year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Super chat.
Mercy Grace, $5 donation. Said Wilson is going to have a big game. I'm calling it. He's been Dak's go-to when when he's put in the game, and he's made an impact when he's in the game. Yeah, I think he'll be a big part of the offense, without a doubt.
Super chat.
B Bird, with 49ers yak potential, should we play more zone? Now that's a good question. I kind of want to talk on here.
Great question. Yeah.
More zone. I did say this yesterday. I think we should mix it up a little bit.
I say we should play more zone against running quarterbacks, in my opinion, but I don't think so in this game. I mean, I don't. I think we can, play them as just as the way we play everyone else. I feel like when we're playing against rushing quarterbacks, that's when playing man and turning your back on the quarterback kind of hurts us. But in this game, I think you stick to what you do best, and we're a man coverage team. I feel like we should stick to what got us here. Yeah.
The only reason why I say
how well we play zone, that's why we don't do it a lot.
Well, I think we should mix it up, and here's why: because this scheme wants you to play man, number one. They want you. They want to get you in over routes. They want to get you to bite up, because if your linebacker or your safety just bites one step too far in, Debo is coming behind you, right? Ayuk is coming behind you. George Kittle now has a ton of space over here to get some yak, and there's nobody there to stop him in that zoned area. So it's one of the challenging things against this team. When you're a man team, you have to really play some man-up ball exceptionally well for 4 quarters. So, I not all game Okoye, but
I mean, they're going to mix it in. I mean, I don't think we should just be a zone team ever. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're going to mix it in there. We do that anyway. But I meant, like, should we go with a zone? Like, if it was, a split, would you say we should be 70% zone or man in this particular?
I would still do what we do. Don't change your stripes, right?
Yeah,
like
that's why.
Be you. Just bring different things to the table. Which, by the way, there's some inside, words going around and rumors that Dan Quinn is going to be utilizing some packages he hasn't shown yet, because now he has Randy Gregory, Neville Gallimore, Osa, Tristan, Micah, and D-Law all together. Let's think about it. He only had them for 4 games this year, I think it was.
Yeah.
So he wasn't able to implement everything, but now he has them all. So we may see some looks that they haven't seen just quite yet. And I trust Dan Quinn.
Agreed.
Super chat.
Lamont,
Super chat.
What's your opinion on J. Lou taking this responsibility of Debo? He's usually put him on those Swiss Army players, a la Kamara, Patterson. I think this will be the J. Lou game this week. Oh, we just talked about that. We don't think it'll be J. Lou.
Yeah, I don't think J. Lou's starting this game. If he does, it'll be a surprise. But I like J. Lou just as much as I like AB versus no, just as much as I like AB as far as his tackling ability. J. Lou can tackle, so and he's done well being physical against those screen passes as well this year. But I don't think he's starting, so that's why I didn't give him a breakdown in regards to his matchup, because I don't think he'll start this game.
Okay,
might finish. Depends on how the boss man plays. Yeah.
Last one here.
Super chat.
Triple D, appreciate you for the $5 donation. He says, I think it's time to bring the Dak design runs to the table and kill all those double reverses in the red zone. Kellen, please let our O-line be goons.
I don't want Dak running in the playoffs very much, in my opinion. I just don't. Because if you get hurt in the playoffs, I'm gonna be mad.
But he said the red zone, though. We on the
red zone. Oh, yeah.
I'm about to say, come on,
I don't
man.
got a problem with that. I like that. We did that last week. I think.
Got the first down.
So I don't mind that.
I
don't want a bunch of Dak design runs, though. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, I'm with you. I don't want a ton of Dak design runs between the 20s, but once you get down there in the red zone and in that green zone, I call it 35-yard line, pull them things out. Because we saw it with Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy put the ball, they deliberately let, Nick Bosa. They freed him up, put the read zone stuff, put the ball in one of those guys' hands. I think it was Connor. And Bosa had to freeze up for Colt McCoy. You know what I'm saying? So it's Colt McCoy, right? But if you let Dak do that somewhere around that green zone, red zone area, you can kind of get Nick Bosa to freeze for 1 second, and that's what sprung James Conner for, I think it was like a 30-something yard game. So, more Colt McCoy. I saw somebody.
Colt McCoy, the White Vic, man. That's the White Vic.
Yeah, in fact, there you go right there. Vach Lombardi in the building, man. Shout out to our brother in Vach Lombardi. What's up, bro? You know what? I wish you were in here earlier because these Niner fans is real spicy in their feelings because we talking about how the Cowboys can win this game. They real spicy. You know what I mean? Are they on your channel this week, Vach? I mean,
they everywhere, man.
Okay, I wasn't sure. You know, I've never seen this many. And again, it's playoffs, right? Playoffs. And I appreciate them being here. Yeah, I appreciate y'all being here. But all right, man, I think that is it in regards to. Wait a minute, I think I did miss a super chat one time for the one time. Hold on. Yeah, Kenny Riddick Jr.
Super chat.
What's good, Sky? D-Law at the press conference sounded super determined to not giving up a whole lot of sound bites. Go Cowboys. You know one thing he said, Okoye, that you will love?
What?
He said we have to remain disciplined. I'm paraphrasing here. On the edges. He said they like to go outside and we have to, obviously
thanks, D-Law.
Maintain their discipline outside.
That's all I need him to do. Other than that, rock out with your cock out, man.
Yeah, force these boys to go back inside. But you know what I love about, I'm one of those dudes, so I love the Niners scheme. I love the Eagles run scheme. I love the Washington run scheme. Their scheme is what I kind of want to do with TP and Zeke. They have this very smart offensive coordinator. I think it's Mike McDaniels. Niner fans, y'all can let me know. Right. Yeah, they spicy in here. And I think I see my aunt in here. Yeah, y'all spicy up in here.
My auntie.
Yeah, she a Niner fan. Shout out to her in the building. What's up, Aunt?
Yeah, talking to what's up, Auntie?
Niner fans, is y'all offensive coordinator named Mike McDaniels? Y'all let me know before I butcher this man's name. I know it's a McDaniels, ain't it?
McDaniels. Yeah.
I think it's McDaniels.
Is it McDaniels from Patriots?
That's another one. That's another one. I think it's Mike McDaniels. Let me know if I'm wrong. Yes, Mike McDaniel, no S. So very sharp, bright dude, by the way, man. I actually like when I listen to him. I like listening to him more than I do Brandon Staley. But very sharp, bright dude. And one of the questions they asked him about, which I'm surprised he gave the answer because I would have kept that close to the vest. They said, "Hey man, why do you do a pitch on a standard A gap B gap run?" And he said they do it all the time. They do it all the time, but it's very smart. He said, well, because it's about getting you off your leverage, right? Like the defense is going to think you're running outside. And now I'm cutting it right back into A gap, B gap. And I love that, and I'm wondering if
if you're key as a linebacker, if you're keying in on the quarterback, you're thinking outside immediately. Yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying, they got a very smart guy. I don't know if guys or if teams are looking at him as a head coach. I don't know if he's similar to Kellen, where, Kellen's a bright offensive mind, but is he head coach material? But he's a guy that I would not let leave the building if I was the 49ers.
Yeah. I thought I was tripping when I was looking at that. I was like, I wonder how many offensive coordinators actually do that, because I was like, a lot of his pre-snap motions for the run and their run setups are just crazy. I love that move though when he swings and then just pitches it to the running back though. I love that.
Yeah, you just don't see that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about their scheme. It's one of, if not the most innovative run scheme in all of football. And a lot of people keep talking about Sean McVay. I think the McVay scheme has died down. That it's kind of similar to, in my opinion, the Chip Kelly phenomenon. Remember that? Yeah. And Chip Kelly was doing stuff. They caught on to it, and now Chip Kelly. I'm not saying McVay's a bad coach.
McVay's changed now, though, too. He's, like, transformed into something else. That east to west only style that he was playing, he's changed since he got Odell. He's a little different this year.
Well, I think Shanahan is better than McVay because I've seen Shanahan adapt his scheme even more than McVay has. That's just what I've seen. So
but Shanahan's a Shanahan. His dad was the running guru.
Sure, but he's not doing what his dad did though. His dad was mostly the zone.
Yeah, but still, like their ground game concepts.
Right. Their base.
He started from his dad's shoulders, and now he's evolved that whole dynamic to something totally different. Like that's why they look so unique on the ground, because his dad was like a beast on the ground too. I remember Clinton Porter's days, man, they were crazy.
Yeah, without a doubt. And for the most part, McVay's offense will eat up a lot of teams. But I think his scheme is not better than Shanahan's scheme. And if I was general manager, I'm actually trying to pluck people from Shanahan.
Right.
I'm trying to pluck them. Right. Mike McDaniels, whoever else is up underneath Shanahan over the last few years.
Try to get a little bit of that in your
tree. Get a little bit of that in my system, as opposed to some of the other things going around. But
yeah. Plus, who do you not want to play? Like I would rather play the Rams than the 49ers because of the physicality of it, not anything else. Like the way they play, even when you win, you kind of carry some of that to the next game because the way they set you up and the way they run at you. So yeah, I'll give you that. But yeah, let's go, man.
Yeah, man. Listen, this has been a great show. Shout out to everybody that joined us today, and the banter as always. This is now 4 days in a row, man. This has been really, really. It's been lit in here in regards to the chat, man.
Playoffs got it electric.
Yeah, they in here. They up in here, and I love it, man. I'll be at Texas Live on Sunday for the game, so I'm gonna be me. I don't know if you coming down this year for the playoffs, bro, but again,
I'm waiting for Foots to tell me what day he's coming. I'll come. I ain't got a problem.
I think Foots is trying to come this week.
He ain't tell me nothing.
Yeah, you got to hit him up.
Tell me nothing. Yeah, I'm gonna hit him up. If he come this weekend, I could fly out there this weekend. I'm not coming to the game, but I'll fly out there. I don't care about that.
And got to like the atmosphere at Texas Live is like being at the game without seeing the actual game. Picture this.
I'm gonna hit Foots up now though.
They got like this 100-foot screen. It's just nuts, man. It's nuts. It's dope. So just get down here if you can, man. Down here if you can. Salute to everybody that joined us today. Appreciate all the donations, all the super chats, the likes, some new subscribers. Thanks for coming through. Okoye, let them know where they can find you and all your work and some of the work you did earlier.
Definitely. AKOYE Media on YouTube. Definitely follow me there. If you want some boxing footage and boxing coverage, definitely follow me on IG under the same name, man. But been a good ride. I'm loving it. So definitely make sure you guys jump on. I got some breakdowns dropping. Should be later today too. I'm trying to break down the offense of 49ers, but it's just taking forever because they got so many motions. Man. I call this your motion sickness, man. It's like so many motions. It's a motion for everything, even for their pass game. It's motions for everything.
Everything is predicated off that run and that motion. Every single thing. That's what makes them tough. All right, check out Mauricio Rodriguez later tonight on A to Z Sports Prime Time and A to Z Sports Dallas.com for all your game day, leading up to your game day articles. AK's in the building, says Triple D.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to all the AKs.
Yes, sir. Shout out to all my AKs out there.
Appreciate y'all. Make sure I hit that like button on the way out. Please, it helps us immensely. Be up out of here, y'all. Peace. Shout out to Stevie Mac, the mod god.